Lesson number 1. Heroes. There is no such thing.
Wow, this trailer is making the movie seem super gritty and intense. I can't wait to see how they'll flesh Tony out in this movie, and I can't wait to see how much of a threat the villain will be.
Yo, listen up, here's the story about a little guy.
This is the kind of movie I'm going to be doing with then, is it? Oh, Iron Man 3, you pile of garbage. You know, I was actually considering whether or not I should do this or Endgame first, concerning how relevant Endgame is and how much that movie matters to me. But we'll get to that at a later time.
I am inevitable.
You sure about that, buddy? Iron Man 3, for those of you who were snapped out of existence for a while, is a movie that came out approximately a century ago and is the final act in the trilogy of Iron Man movies. Built up to be Tony Stark's most incredible and amazing adventure yet, Iron Man 3 crashes and burns. Quite literally in some ways. I actually first watched Iron Man 3 for the first time a few months back while I started my Marvel-thon. Marvel-thon? Marvel Marathon? Oh, fuck it, who cares? After my incredibly lukewarm reception of the first Avenger, I was a little worried that the first Iron Man movie would turn out the same way, only for me to then realize it's one of my favorite movies in the entire MCU. And no, that isn't just me being an Iron Man fanboy. I adore this movie and would gladly go back to rewatch it over and over again. I think it's better than all of these movies and more, but we'll get to each of them individually at some point soon.
The real question is,
Following that joyride was Iron Man 2 chronologically, and I was hella pumped. I couldn't wait to see how they would continue such a fantastic story. And my life is a party, my home is the club. I party like a I didn't like it. Anyway, after that disaster was Thor.
We don't talk about that!
What? But it's important to understand.
Ragnarok is the only good Thor movie!
Okay, I agree with that, but we'll get to that when its time comes. Anyways, as I was saying, after that was The Avengers. A fantastic superhero team-up movie and a great movie to start off what would eventually become Marvel's biggest franchise within the MCU itself. Tony, still being one of my favorite characters even in Iron Man 2, had me at least a little bit hopeful for Iron Man 3. My thoughts upon watching it the first time and then rewatching it for this video? Well, you saw the title of the video, you know exactly what my thoughts are. Iron Man 3 failed to live up to my expectations and not only gained the title of my least favorite Iron Man movie, but my least favorite movie in the entire MCU. It beat out Black Panther. Black fucking Panther! This movie's just that painfully bad. Okay, so shortly after starting work on this video, I was finally able to watch Captain Marvel for the first time, and this is the only movie I couldn't get through in one sitting. So this one's easily worse than Black Panther for me. I just wanted to clear that up before I go any farther forward. Before I continue any further, I would like to stress very heavily that this is my opinion. If you love this movie, then that is entirely okay and you're entitled to your own views. I'm not enforcing my beliefs like they're a law. I'm not gonna have you arrested because I said you committed a hate crime for liking this movie. I'm just not gonna do that. Got it? Hope so. It's not gonna stop the comments from starting a flame war anyway. Fitting, considering what the Mandarin is. The movie begins with Tony speaking in a very philosophical manner, speaking about creating your own personal demons, something I'm sure all of us have at least one of.
A famous man once said, "We create our own demons."
The score backing this scene really intensifies the mood it's going for. It's somber, it's dark. It's a great scene, except it sucks, and let me explain why. First of all, Tony's saying this like it's ancient wisdom, like it was given to him from like a wizard that has like nothing left to do in his life.
A famous man once said,
It's something that everybody learns pretty much when they get into middle school, so it's not like it's something that people won't already know. Secondly, like, duh? Your inner demons are insecurities about yourself. They're things about you that you don't like. Fear, anxiety, sadness, all these negative emotions. Those are what make up your inner demons. Everybody has these negative parts about themselves that they don't like, so this is just redundant in saying this. Hi, this is me post-editing this. I wanted to explain that I did realize that he was talking about actual demons and not just your inner demons, which, even though in this context it's not technically wrong, it's not the way that it was being explained in the movie, so I'm very sorry about that. Thirdly, he just cuts himself off right after saying this, so there really wasn't any point for him to say it in the first place.
Basically getting said by two well-known guys.
It just kind of defeats the purpose when you cut yourself off from what you're trying to say. Then we cut to the Marvel Studios card. I'm not doing the joke again. I'm not. Don't expect me to make the joke.
Yo, listen up, here's the story.
Why? Who thought this was a good idea? When I saw this for the first time, my jaw dropped to the fucking ground when this came up. I genuinely thought I was taking LSD before this, but later on I wish I had. Of all the songs they could have chosen from, hell, even the opening logo's soundtrack itself, they went with that? I mean, at that point, you might as well just fucking...
Let's track this from the beginning.
I groaned. I knew immediately not to expect anything too spectacular from that point onward. From there we cut to a New Year's party celebrating, take a guess, and verging into the start of a new millennia. At this party we're introduced to three important things. Maya, who gets about as fleshed out as a flower garden hit with a lawnmower. Aldrich Killian, the totally not evil murderer dude. What do you mean he has kill in his name? And an experimental injection thing known as Extremis. Extremis works by editing your genetic code to basically become immortal, but not. Such wonderful perks such as limb regrowth, healing, and combustion. Yeah, Extremis is the main driving force of this movie if you haven't noticed already. So Tony and Maya are talking at this party, and then they leave the room, and then Aldrich Killian comes up and starts to show off how fanny of a boy he is for Tony. His shaking appearance, the nervousness in his voice. It's almost like this is how anyone would react to, you know, Tony fucking Stark.
Oh, Mr. Parker.
What? What are you doing? Hey.
This is how you do it, guys. He then proceeds to talk about something he's been developing, Advanced Idea Mechanics, or AIM for short. Tony says he's interested in working with Killian and tells him to meet him up on the roof in 5 minutes. Tony follows Maya into her hotel room, and then she proceeds to show off and explain what Extremis is to Tony. Oh yeah, and Happy's there, and he tears off the leaf of a fucking plant that Maya has for some reason. This will be important later. Tony takes Maya into her bedroom, and it's shown that apparently the plant was injected with Extremis at some point, because it regrows the limb that Happy just fucking ripped off. And then it explodes. Like, seriously, the thing just fucking explodes, and then Happy tackles Tony onto the bed.
Have you checked the telomerase out?
Get down!
Also, he does this after the thing's already exploded. You know, after the danger's already gone. Great job there, buddy. Tony and Maya also play off the explosion that just happened as if it was just like spilling a glass of water on the floor.
I'm talking about the glitch.
Have you checked the telomerase?
And not, you know, like a safety hazard. Also, wouldn't the hotel staff be a little bit concerned that there was a goddamn explosion in one of their hotel rooms? Wouldn't there be a team of employees up there almost immediately because of a potential safety hazard? Ugh, to think this isn't the dumbest thing this movie does. Oh yeah, and remember how Tony said he'd meet Killian on the roof in 5 minutes? Yeah, he doesn't do that. He goes immediately to bed with Maya. This will be important for later. Tony then narrates the next scene talking about how he just created his own demons.
So, why am I telling you this? Because I had just created demons, and I didn't even know it.
Oh boy, there's a few problems with this already. First of all, Tony does every single thing by himself because that's how Dad did it, and that's how America does it. I mean, yeah, he has Pepper with him, but she's kind of just there, and she's managing Stark Industries, so it's not like she can exactly do much to help him. Secondly, Killian just believes this without any second thought or any questions as to why Tony brings this up now. Especially since, you know, he could have just been saying this to get him out of his hair, which ultimately ends up being the case. Also, why would someone talk business with you on the roof of a fucking building? That's such a stupid place to do that, because it's not secure in any way. You'd think that if they're gonna do that anywhere, they would do it in, oh, I don't know, the hotel that they're staying in their own private fucking rooms? This movie's actively making me lose more brain cells the more I talk about it. Sure, blind fanboyism and shock could be the reason why Killian's so quick to believe Tony, but the motherfucker's a scientist! He should know what common sense is and, more importantly, how to apply it in situations like this. Thirdly, Tony being a dumbass and using that as an excuse to get him away from him is entirely what kickstarts the plot of this movie, and it pisses me off. Seriously, if Tony just said something like, oh, it was great talking to you, you know, take it easy out there, or something like that, literally this entire movie would never have happened, but no, it would have to be something as fucking stupid as this. I understand that at this point in the timeline, Tony's still super self-centered, but this is a whole new level of dumbassery. Future me again? I'm aware that Pepper doesn't come until way later in the story, but I'm using it as an example to explain why I hate this fucking part of the movie so much. So after the intro, we cut to the present day, which, by the way, that's a time jump, isn't it? I mean, we cut from New Year's of 1999 back to present day, which is like 10 years later, in quite a short time span, don't you think?